You're listening to Mums Who Question with Jasmine Templin
and Valentina Occur,
a place where curiosity is welcome, instincts are trusted, and the conversation goes deeper than the mainstream. From children's health to motherhood to food, low-tox living, and holistic perspectives, we explore the things many of us were never taught but can't stop thinking about. This is for the mums asking questions, looking closer, and wanting to make more informed choices for themselves and their families. Quick note before we start, everything we share is from our own perspectives and curiosity. Our guests share their own views too. Nothing on this show is medical advice. Please always consult a qualified health professional before making any changes to yourself or your kids. So welcome back to the podcast, episode 2. How's your week been?
My week's been really good. What about you?
Good, yes. Been a crazy week this week.
Any funny stories?
I've got one from last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week we've been a bit hectic with the kids being sick, but last week Evie decided, so my oldest daughter Evie, I normally put my son to sleep, and so I took him into the other room to put him down for a nap, and I came out and Evie was really quiet, so I came out to check on her to see what she's done, and she's gone into the fridge and grabbed the whole block of butter and is sitting on the couch just chowing through this block of butter.
No.
So yeah, that was fun, and she even wiped it on my couch. So
oh, great.
Yeah, that was so much fun trying to take that out of my couch. But yeah, had to lose half the butter because it was all like covered in the couch fuzz and stuff like that. So yeah, great fun. But yeah, that's what happens when you leave a toddler for a couple of minutes.
She must have been feeling very satisfied.
Yeah, definitely.
That actually reminds me, I've got a funny story too about Saskia, who is also my eldest. I've showed you that we got those blocks, the pastel wooden blocks. They change in height.
Oh, yeah.
So you can make different things from them.
Yeah.
And anyway, she was playing away, and at one point they fell down and she squished her finger in it and it made a blood blister. Oh. And she started, I shouldn't laugh, but she started crying. Yeah. She started crying saying, there's blood. And I kept trying to explain to her that the blood's actually inside your finger. It's completely fine. It's not bleeding everywhere. And she kept saying, I've got to go to the doctor. And then it went back and forth a bit. Then she started asking for Princess, and I couldn't understand what she meant. I finally realised she meant a Band-Aid. Put the Band-Aid on her, and she's telling me about how she's got this blood and she's got to go to the doctor. And I said, oh, no, don't worry. It's fine. It's inside your finger. It's not bleeding. She said, oh, it's sauce.
That's great.
I was like, no, but we'll go with that.
Oh my gosh, I love the things that they come out with. Like,
I
it's
know.
just
so innocent.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, my husband was playing soccer and he's hurt his finger, and Evie saw it like all bandaged up because he's dislocated it or something. So he had it had them together and like all bandaged up, and she kept telling him, you need to go to the doctors. You need to go to the doctors. And he's like, I'm fine, I'm all good. She's like, no, you need to go to the doctors.
Getting bullied
pressure
by
him
a
in,
2-year-old.
to go to the doctors for it.
That's awesome.
I wish I could record all of the things they say and then just watch it back years to come.
I know. I try to write it down when something really funny happens.
That's smart.
Yeah. I think it helps because, again, we forget too.
I've been recording her voice in the voice memos app. I'll go on at random times and I'll be like, okay, whatever word she's saying at the time, like when she was younger, it was like, say apple. And she was like apple, and then banana. And recently it's been like, say hippopotamus, and just like words that are like that she says funny.
That's cute.
Or Wednesday, things like that. So I've got like all these recordings as she's gone along of extra words that she can say.
Yeah. That's
we
really
back
sweet.
To them. Yeah, she loves it. She listens back to ones from when she was like 1, and she's like herself.
That's so funny.
All right, let's get into this episode.
Yeah, this episode is about uncovering what is in popular baby products.
Yes. So there's a lot of baby products out there that I guess because everyone else uses them, we just assume that they must be the best of the best, and we just grab them straight off the shelves without even looking at the ingredients and really discovering what's in them. So I guess we just want to uncover some of the popular products. We'll say, why we don't use them and what we don't like about them, and then give you some alternatives of what you could use instead.
And also what to look out for too. Because as you just said, it's quite wild about how everything is just accepted now. And that sort of brings us into our first one, which has always blown my mind, that any mother that I ever speak to that uses pseudo cream always says, oh, it's the one that they use in the hospital. So
yeah. My daughter was prem And even within the NICU, just gave us a little bottle of pseudocream. And so it was put on newborn babies, premature babies. And it was that's just what they did. And I remember when they gave it to me and I looked at it like, hey, I know a bit about this. This was one of the books I knew I wasn't going to use. And I just found it so strange that was something that they were giving us. Yet they were also giving us sterilized water and cotton buds, cotton wool to wipe their bums. So that's what we were using. So we weren't even using wipes on her yet because they were like, oh, sensitive bum and everything like that. So we're using sterilized water to wipe her bum, yet we were using pseudocream. So I thought that was strange.
It is funny. I think they just don't really question it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know exactly what happens, but I'm just assuming that they have contracts with they would have, because they supplied all the nappies and everything like that. So it was the Huggies nappies and pseudocream and things like that. So they just get it within bulk. And that's just what they give out to everyone, unless you bring in your own product.
How interesting.
Yeah. So Tina, why don't you like pseudocream?
So personally, what I knew about it is that it is quite full of fragrance and additives like benzyl alcohol, benzyl benzoate, benzyl cinnamate. It can also trap moisture. So because it is so thick, the moisture can be trapped and therefore it can make rashes worse with the heat. So other options that I actually use with Saskia, I used to use the Weleda nappy cream. I have seen that some of the ingredients now are not as clean.
There's two that they have at the Weleda.
Oh,
I looked at them the other day. Yeah, so there's the yellow one.
Yeah.
That's the one that everyone used for ages. Because I looked at it when I had Evie, I looked at that one and I saw that there was still fragrance in it. So that's why I didn't buy it. But I went in the other day and I saw that there was two because I was looking at a new bum cream again. And they've got a fragrance free. It's a white bottle.
Oh, how interesting.
It's like an extra $1, I think it was, at the organic shop. But yeah, they've got a fragrance free one now.
That might be my new favorite one.
Yeah.
I did prefer that. But I then switched because of the ingredients. I switched to Eco Store.
Okay.
But yes, I have spoken with you about this before. When I had Saskia, I was putting it on every clean without a doubt. And with Arliss, I realized that you really don't need to. So I only ever really put it on when I see
a little bit of redness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same with Ezra now. Yeah. With Evie, it was just, you just went through the rhythms of changing nappy. You always just put the cream on because it was just part of nappy change. But yeah, now I'm very much, you don't need to add extra products to their skin if they don't need it. So if his bum's looking red, I will put it on him. But yeah, I don't really use it that often.
And what nappy cream do you use?
I've been using Whatnot. It's like a green bottle. I used it with Evie and had no problems. And I've been using it with Ezra. However, he's now 6 months old and he did have, with the teething, he had a nappy rash outbreak. And I put it on him and it did make him cry. So I think there was a bit of pain and I have now swapped. So I used to use the Whatnots and now we use the Mugu brand. It's a lot thicker. So the consistency, I would say, is a little bit lighter than like a pseudocream, but it's white like a pseudocream, where the Whatnot is like a yellowy, more like an ointment.
I didn't like it.
Really?
No, I just felt it didn't
stick around long enough.
No, yeah, it really just wiped away.
I found that, but then I always found that they didn't need it a lot anyway. So it was like enough to get rid of the redness, but it wasn't like trapped in there for a long period of time. So like by the time the next nappy change came around, there was never any residue left, where with the white ones, I do notice that I'm wiping it away for the next nappy change. So I guess it just depends on how much your child gets like redness and needs a thicker cream or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why we don't use pseudocream at all. All right, let's look into another product, baby wipes.
Yeah. I would say to look for ones free from alcohol, parabens, phthalates, and fragrance. Some examples would be Tushies or Bungie. I actually did used to use water wipes, but I stopped for two reasons. There is a lawsuit in Canada as they claim to be plastic free, yet they tested positive for microplastics. I need to say that that's an allegation, not a proven fact, but that just stuck with me a little bit. And there's also question about the 1% of grapeseed extract. The controversy is that some grapeseed extract preservatives have historically tested positive for synthetic antimicrobial contaminants. And I guess with a lot of these products in general, it isn't always just the one ingredient. It's about the repeated exposure on the skin multiple times a day.
And such a sensitive area as well that you do.
Abby, some reviews on pediatric contact dermatitis explain that fragrances are among the most commonly reported cosmetic allergens because these chemicals are used so frequently and directly on the skin. And as you just said, especially with babies prone to eczema or they have a disrupted skin barrier, which a lot of the time when they are small and they have things like nappy rash, they do, you're wiping irritated skin, the absorption is higher. It's just a lot more problematic. So the wipes that I now use is Bungee. They're our favorite. I find that they actually wipe up quite well too.
Okay. I'm on the Tushies.
Oh, really? I've never even tried them.
They're thinner than a Huggies wipe, but I feel like,
thick.
I feel like I've never used a Huggies wipe until someone else gave me a spare wipe once. Oh, these are very different. So I guess if you've never used anything else, you don't know what to compare it to. But yeah, like I've never had them rip or anything like that as I've been wiping. They don't feel as wet as a Huggies wipe either.
Okay, that's interesting. Does it clean up as well?
Yeah, still cleans well.
Okay.
I like them. I continue to buy them. So I still think they're great.
Yeah, I did use Huggies at the start when I had Saskia. Again, I just bought the most recommended
what
ones,
everyone
really.
buys. Yeah, you just Huggies nappies, Huggies wipes and go for it.
That's right. I think I did get fragrance free, but I didn't look any further than that. It wasn't until later down the line that I stumbled into water wipes and then moved on to Bungee. I would say that Bungee, again, is thinner than Huggies, but I don't think it changes the ability to do the job well.
No. Have you seen the thank you wipes?
No.
They're meant to be good as well.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to try.
Yeah, I looked into the back of the packet of those and I did notice that they were like pretty good ingredients. Like when they're on sale, they're about the same as what a Huggies wipes would be anyway, I feel.
Okay, so let's talk about nappies. So ideally you want to avoid chlorine as much as you can and also avoid things like fragrances, no added lotions, fewer inks, additives, and really just the simplest ingredients that you can find. So chlorine free can get a little bit confusing with brands because there is elemental chlorine free, which means it doesn't use chlorine gas. It usually uses chlorine dioxide instead to whiten the wood pulp, but it still isn't completely chlorine free. And then there's also total chloride free, which uses no compounds at all. So brands that are total are, there is Junior, Joonya, and there is also Eco Originals. Millie Moon used to be total, but a few years ago it actually changed to elemental chlorine free. And brands like Huggies are elemental. Elemental is better than not at all, but total is the cleanest option. And we do currently use Junior.
All right, let's talk about the Yucca app. I love the Yucca app and hate it at the same time. I feel like it's a great tool for people that are getting into looking into ingredients because it just gives you a number and you're like, perfect, that's good, or it's bad, or whatever. So I feel like it was a really helpful tool when you first started looking into things. However, I still use it to this day, but I'm a lot more careful with it because I do know that some brands, this is allegedly, some brands pay Yucca to give them a better rating or to remove their rating altogether.
Oh, not good.
No, not good at all. And I have noticed that I've scanned things before and it has said 100 out of 100. And then I've looked at the back and it had seed oils in it. So they don't rate the seed oil component in the product.
Oh, I've actually never used it for food.
Really?
Yes.
I've used it for food and like beauty products and things like that. I've used it for everything. And it will also give you a rating, like it will say that something's bad because it's got too much salt or things like that. I guess it depends whether or not having too much salt in something is a big issue for you. Where for me, I'd rather know if there's seed oils in it rather than too much salt.
Something to be aware of.
Yeah, definitely use the app. I think it's a really great starting point if you're unsure and you just want to know if something's somewhat healthy or something's better than something else. However, start to learn how to read the back of products, I think, is quite a big thing.
And so let's talk about fragrance again. I know we touched on it a little bit with the wipes, but it is really common to be in baby products. So just a few examples, there's in some Johnson's baby products, Courage, QV baby wash and products. Aveeno have some fragrance. And a 2023 study looked at 1,179 cosmetic products marketed specifically to children, and it found that 53.8% were fragranced and 25.3% contained recognized fragrance allergens. Among the most common is limonene and linalool. So what's really wild about this is that many parents, like we have ourselves, assume that because it's a baby product, it automatically means that it's gentle. When looking at a baby wash and moisturizer, as we said with the wipes, it's built up over time. So these ingredients on their own might be okay, but if you're using it multiple times a day, every day, that's where the problem can begin. Personally, for my family, we use Mugu fragrance-free options, although I don't wash both girls every single day within reason.
Yes, we're the same with that. Evie has eczema, and I was told from a doctor, if you don't have to wash them every day, try washing every second day, because every time they wash, it's stripping the natural oils from their skin, which can then irritate eczema and things like that. Especially because they're so young, they don't get all sweaty and smelly like you do once you become a teenager. Yeah, I don't wash my kids every single day, and I definitely think that has helped with the eczema.
Because it's quite crazy, right? Because if you do have, say, any of these problematic ingredients in their baby wash, you could also have it in their moisturizer, their shampoo, their wipes, the washing detergent, their bedding. So it really does make it quite hard for someone, say, recovering from eczema if they're constantly being exposed.
Yes. When we say fragrance and perfume, they can write that on a bottle, and that covers 1,000 ingredients they can put into that. So they don't have to disclose all of the ingredients that they're actually putting in if they just use the word fragrance. So when you read the back of the bottle and you go, oh, there's only 10 ingredients, but one of them is fragrance, that is just a label to cover multiple different things that they could be putting in there. So
that's right.
Even though they might smell delicious, yeah, there's just so many hidden things that we just don't know about yet. And they're hormone disruptors. Our kids are going through enough hormone changes.
That's right.
Behavioral issues that we don't need to add on to that.
Absolutely. So that brings us to our next topic. Let's talk about laundry detergent and fabric softeners. So, for example, again, the most popular brands like Omo, Fab, Attack, Radiant, Comfort fabric softener, and even Purity sensitive laundry liquid, which has babies on the advertising, has synthetic fragrance compounds. So sensitive does not always mean fragrance free, and you've got to be really careful with marketing because these companies know what they are doing. Laundry residue can also remain on clothing or bedding after it's been washed.
I learned this the other day actually about, if you wash your clothes in these products, they actually stick into the into the clothing. And so I'm now torn with the whole getting things secondhand because my kids, their skin's so sensitive and these residues sit in this clothes. So it doesn't matter how many times I wash them afterwards, it will still sit in the clothing.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. So even though we're using clean ingredients.
As you said, for someone who is susceptible to have skin problems, that could really be changing things.
And another thing about the fabric softener. So fabric softener, I think, is just a joke in itself. I hate fabric softeners. I saw something. Now, I don't know if this is 100% true, but this is what I learned off TikTok, and anything you learn off TikTok is right, obviously. But it did say that fabric softeners actually have an oil in the softener itself, which means when you wash your clothes with it, the oil stays in the clothing. And then when you touch things in your everyday life, it actually attracts dirt to the clothing, which makes you need to wash it more.
That's really
So,
interesting.
I don't know, but I did read that once and went, wow, that is crazy that they're giving you something to make your clothes softer, which, by the way, if you just use vinegar in your wash, it actually softens. It's a natural softener. And that's what I do with my clothing.
Personally, we don't use a softener. So we use mainly source bulk foods, which they use essential oils. And we have recently switched over to dirt, but you probably have more to say about this than I do.
Dirt.
Yes.
I am hooked on dirt. I have repurchased multiple times. I think they're fabulous. They've got just the general wash, which is like a pump one, which pump washing liquid is actually better for your washing machine than the powder, because the powder can get clogged in the washing machine. But yeah, I love that one. They do now have a newer version of that, the advanced. However, it does say for sensitive skin, it would recommend just doing the original. So I've stuck with the original. And then I've used their booster, which I like the booster. I have repurchased it. I'm still like 50-50 with that one. They've got an oil and grease spray, stain removal spray, and they've got a food spray, which I love because toddlers food on them all the time. And it comes with a little travel one. So if we're out and about and they get their top like dirty, you can spray it onto the top like straight away. And then when you get home, chuck it in the wash, and it does always remove the stains. So I love dirt, swear by them, and would continue to purchase through them.
Okay, now let's discuss a few other ingredients worth knowing more about. Phenooxyethanol. I hope I'm saying that right. This one's found in Huggies wipes, Little Ones wipes, Johnson baby products, Aveeno baby, Cetaphil baby, Mustela, and many sensitive baby wipes and lotions. And so this one is a preservative used to stop bacteria and mold growth. The concern mainly comes from babies having a higher skin surface area relative to body weight, repeated exposure from multiple products, and infant skin being more absorbent. So some studies and reviews suggest excessive exposure may potentially affect the nervous system or cause irritation in susceptible infants, although regulated amounts are currently considered safe by authorities. An interesting point is it's often marketed as a safer alternative after parabens became more controversial, but now many parents are questioning how much of it babies are exposed to daily. We also have PE. This one again found in Johnson's products, Cetaphil baby, Aveeno baby, and some shampoo, moisturizers, and bubble baths. PEGs are compounds used to make products feel smoother and help ingredients penetrate the skin. The concern isn't always the PEGs itself, it's that PEG manufacturing can sometimes leave behind contaminants like ethylene oxide or 1,4-dioxane. And so 1,4-dioxane has been classified by some agencies as a possible human carcinogen. As we said, PEGs may increase skin penetration, meaning other ingredients may absorb more easily too. We've got to think about parabens. Parabens are preservatives that can weakly mimic estrogen in the body. If you're looking on a label, they can be a little bit hidden. Some common parabens include methylparaben,
Yeah, it's hard to say it.
butylparaben, I think that is. Researchers detected parabens in human urine, breast tissue, and umbilical cord blood, which raise questions about long-term cumulative exposure. Some studies discuss possible endocrine disrupting effects, although the strength and real-world significance are still debated. An interesting point about this one is many brands removed parabens because of the consumer concern, which is partly why preservatives like phenol became more common, which they're now also starting to question. You might be thinking, well, what about phthalates? The concern for plastic being in everything is rising, and phthalates are actually trickier because companies often don't list them directly on labels. As Jazz was sort of touching on before, they're commonly hidden under fragrance and parfum. Because phthalates can be used to help scents last longer and stabilize fragrances, that's why low tox discussions often focus so heavily on synthetic fragrance. A consumer usually wouldn't know a product contains phthalates unless the company specifically discloses it. It says phthalate free, or independent testing or research has looked into it.
I guess where we're coming from with this is, yes, some of these are just research at the moment. However, if you can avoid them and you can still get products that are good that don't use these things, why not try it? Because you don't know the long-term effects on our health. And when we talk about fragrance, like a lot of mums will say when people come to visit their newborn, please don't wear any perfume when holding my baby, because of, you know, how sickening scents can be and because of these issues. Yet we'll use fragrance in all of the baby products that they're going to put on their child. Yeah, in nappy cream, in their body wash and things like that. So if you're not happy for people to hold a baby with them wearing perfume and fragrance, then really question, I guess, whether or not you want to put it on to your child.
That was pretty much the end of what we were wanting to cover, really reiterating about the fact that fragrance, perfume can be hidden as a proprietary blend. And yes, sometimes reading the label, you do have to dig a little bit deeper than that if you really want to know exactly what is in a product. And just reiterating that this is not coming from a place of judgment, as Jazz just very well explained, that we want people to feel empowered with knowledge to be able to make the right decisions for their family. This isn't saying that there's a specific right or wrong answer or that there should be any shame for using these products for any reason. It's more just trying to empower you with that knowledge so that you're able to make those decisions. Because for a lot of mums, I do find that I don't know if tricked is the right word, but you feel stripped of having the opportunity to make these decisions because of lack of understanding.
Yeah. Well, there's so many decisions you're already making for your child that you just go, okay, I'm just going to go with the flow of what everyone else is using with the brands that everyone knows. So you go, oh, that's one less decision that I have to make or one less thing I've got to look into. But all we're saying is, you still need to look into these things, I guess, and question, why are these the mainstream products that we use? And it's because they've done some really good marketing over the years and are ones that have, you know, stand the test of time. But there's new products coming out every day that are much better. So we're happy to constantly change as well. The products that we're currently using for our kids, something else might come out that's better and will also change. But at the moment, the brands that we are loving are the ones that we've kind of touched on. But yeah, there's always a chance for something new to come out.
That's right. The awareness keeps evolving.
Yes.
All right, so let's leave that one there. Thank you for listening, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you at our next episode.
Before we go, we just wanted to say everyone is on their own journey and there's never any judgment or pressure here. Whoever you are or wherever you're at, this space is simply about starting conversations, sharing perspectives, and making information more accessible to those people who are looking for it. Take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't, and know you're always welcome here.